Hi, my name is Professor Mark Giordano, and I'm going to be teaching a class called The Future of Food. So there are three main objectives in the class. The first is that we're going to take a look at the global food system and try to understand what are the issues, what are the problems. The second thing we're going to do is try to understand how our perception of those problems influences the way we might want to solve them. So we're going to take a look at the past, see what's happened in trying to solve past food and agriculture challenges, what the outcomes were, and what we can learn from that. The final thing we're going to do is spend some time focusing on our own subjective perceptions of what food problems are, our views of do we need more food, is that really the issue, why do we think that, and we're going to use that knowledge to try to do a better job of analyzing what should happen in the future. The final objective I don't set in advance, it's an objective for the students themselves. So we will together work out a learning objective for you and a process for meeting the objective. So it might be writing a paper, but it might be producing a film that lets you get at an issue that's of direct interest to you, and also using a format that's of interest to you after you leave the class. The basic content of this course is important to everyone simply because we all obviously have to have food to live. But what goes into agriculture and how it fits into the global system is important to international relations in multiple ways that many people don't think about. Agriculture is one of the main emitters of gases related to climate change. Agriculture is the #1 source of land use change in terms of how our environment is affected. The largest single source of employment for the poor globally is in agriculture, and so it goes on and on. You often don't think about the prices of agriculture being important to political stability, but if you look at the recent uprisings in the Middle East, you'll find that many of them were set off initially by changes in food prices. So this course is really wrapped around almost every aspect of what someone wants to learn in a program like the MSFS. So I have been at Georgetown for a little more than 2 years. I'm the director of the Science, Technology, and International Affairs program in the School of Foreign Service. But before that, I spent 11 years living in Sri Lanka, where I was one of the managing directors of an organization called the International Water Management Institute. And what we did was ran research to understand how to better use water management in agriculture to reduce poverty. Our headquarters were in Sri Lanka, where I lived, and we had offices around Asia and Africa. Prior to that, I spent about 10 years as an economist for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, working on trade issues between the U.S. and Asia. So I've spent most of my career working on agriculture directly or indirectly through the inputs to it, and I've been here at Georgetown teaching on issues of how science and technology are related to international affairs, and that definitely includes agriculture. The syllabus for the class is online, but I want to mention two other things that aren't on the syllabus. One is that we're actually going to get some experience with agriculture by growing some crops in class, and the other is that we're going to get some experience with the food side by actually eating some interesting items that we'll talk about in class. Looking forward to see you in the spring.